Hello and welcome to Spotlight, a warm glow of creative light.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
This evening, we hear about one of the few shows at the Gaiety Theatre which sells out almost instantly. Catch up with Anne Clarke from the Guild as that all-important cut-off date for entries rapidly approaches. And finish our quick tour of the centre of youth creativity, which is Kensington Arts. Remember, do get in touch with any creative, artistic endeavours you might be involved in, planning, hoping to create, or would really like to, of course, put in the spotlight. That's this show, by the way. Poetic, visual, theatrical, musical, literary, mime, you name it, we're interested. Email me, spotlight@manxradio.com or howardkane@manxradio.com, and there's an E on the Kane. So, say Young Farmers Concert, and you probably think two things: fantastically creative and often wonderfully risque sketches which pull no punches when it comes to extracting the Michael from our beloved MHKs, and a long line of fans queuing up in the wee small hours of the morning or even overnight to be first in the queue for tickets. Bryony and Nicky from the Federation of Young Farmers told Simon Clarke and Kerry Kermode that curtain up time for the Young Farmers show was rapidly approaching.
Tension's building as everyone tries to get their sketches put together, their costumes ready and the dancers looking perfect.
It's a bit early for that, isn't it? But the tickets that go on sale, and this is one of the, it's one of the highlights, some people's highlights more than actually going to the concert themselves, is getting first in the queue for the tickets.
Yes, I think some people arrive the night before and then the doors open at 4:30. It's unbelievable, but it's so nice to see, and it tends to be the same people that go down, so it's where everyone sort of meets up, catches up. Even at 4:30 in the morning, everyone's quite happy to see each other. And it's quite nice because the last few years we've gone down and done teas and coffees and toast just before Costa open, so it's really nice to be able to do that. And
Bryony, the tickets, the concert is a little bit, it's about the second week in March this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the 9th, 10th and 11th of March this year, so a little bit earlier. So clubs are a bit panicky, but no, they seem to be well underway with things. I've had a few updates from everyone. And then the concert ticket sales are Saturday the 4th of February, so this week, from 8 a.m. at the Welcome Centre at the Sea Terminal, and then you can grab them online or over the phone at 10:30 a.m.
So talking about the sales of the tickets there, Bryony, but without the young farmers that are actually performing in the concert, there wouldn't be a show. So how do the ideas come about? Is it a group of people, or do they get given a script to follow? How does it work in the back of it all?
No, I think there's a very busy little group in each club, isn't there, Nikki, that puts their heads together, comes up with their theme or that idea that they're going to run with, and then they themselves and maybe their producers that they've used before, which tend to be like past members or parents and friends, will write maybe a few sketches for them or help them with the whole script, and then they add in all their ideas. Then they pick maybe the songs that go with that theme or songs that they like to dance, they like the idea of dancing to. So it is like a massive group effort for each club, and then obviously as a federation we sort of set the guidelines with the timing, the rules, like what they can and can't do, I suppose. Obviously there's different trophies up for grabs, so they concentrate on maybe doing that with the best dance routine. That's like a highly sought after trophy. There's best junior, best senior, best sketch, best individual act. So there's a lot up for grabs, and I think they do work really hard to try and, they are amateurs at the end of the day. They are just farmers or your general members of the public that join Young Farmers and get up on the Gaiety stage. So like massive props to them, because it is like a very daunting thing to do, get up and dance and speak on stage. But, if anyone's never done it, I would highly recommend like joining the Young Farmers anyway, but to do the concert, it's just such a good experience, and it's such like a confidence booster as well. So,
and it's not too late to get involved, Bryony?
No, absolutely not. You can get involved any time of the year, but yeah, for this year's concert, I'm sure the likes of us at Northern, we're working on our dancers at the moment, so people would be welcome to see new faces to get involved.
Yeah. And Nikki, your family have been involved with Young Farmers concerts forever. I can remember my parents on stage with your family members, the Canes, and they used to do an awful lot of writing and preparing. You would have seen as a young person growing up all of the hard work that would have went in at home preparing for this, like Bryony's just spoke about.
Yes, and I'd met up with my uncle. I was trying to pick his brain the other day, and I actually just had to stop because it's just amazing how people come up with their ideas and how all the different ways they're creative, and from the props, and they explain what they want to do, and then actually seeing it in practice and how they've made things swing out one side or look like someone's appeared. And it is great. We're watching some of the old concert DVDs and just see how far it's come, but just see how everyone, you see them now, but everything they put into the concerts, in the costumes, the designs, the music. It is absolutely amazing how it's still going. It's just brilliant.
But that said, the creation of the costumes, to create 30 girls' dresses, all different sizes, all looking amazing, and even the huge size of the backdrops. I can remember having to paint one or two. But it's just colossal, the time that goes into it.
Yes, and actually one was actually a few years. My brother Will had the Southerns one in the barn, and they just couldn't believe how high they had to lift it up, and the amount of paint that had to go on it, and the time to get the right shading, and the vision to get it from a piece of paper onto the giant. But
it is such a great platform for anybody that's into the creative side to get a sort of hands-on feel, get on the side of the stage, learn the lighting, the music, the timings. There's more to it than just being the person in the centre telling the story. There's so much more around it.
There's a role for everyone. So if you're not the most confident on the stage, although some people aren't confident, and then afterwards they absolutely love it and they can't wait to get back on the stage. But there's just little bits for everyone, from handling the microphones if you're an organised person, to painting, to creating, to even choreographing the dances.
And I think when people watch it as well, they don't realise it, because it's not like a theatre production team or anything. It genuinely is all man-made, it's all done by the clubs and their members, the families, the past members that help them out. Everything is done by them. So it is such a massive effort. It's not just learning the script or writing the script and doing the dances. It's, like you say, finding or making the costumes, doing the props, the backdrops, just everything about it. And there's a lot of admin work as well that goes into it, with the child performance licenses, the risk assessments. We have to jump through a lot of hoops, which is totally understandable, but it's just all time consuming. So it is a massive thing, and I think that's why everyone just has the best time at the concert, don't they? Because it's like a relief to finally get out there and do it, and when it goes well, it's just the biggest high, and you all have such good fun, and by the time the concert comes around, your club is your family, and just to enjoy it all together, it's the best feeling.
And that said, Bryony, the people love to come and watch you all perform as well, and it is a huge earner for the charities that you support. And have you picked any charities this year?
No, we will know this week, and that's down to our vice chair lady Emily Kelly this year. So we've got a meeting this week, so she's going to bring her chosen charity to that and let us know, so we'll announce that.
A reminder, those tickets go on sale Saturday the 4th of February from 8 a.m. at the Welcome Centre at the Sea Terminal in Douglas, then online and by phone from 10:30, if there's any left. The concert itself is on at the Gaiety from the 9th to the 11th of March.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
Speaking of things coming up fast on the rails, another high point of the Manx artistic calendar is, of course, the Guild. Been around for 1,000 years. Not quite. Feels like it, though, forever. It takes place at the back end of April, as has always been the case, as far as I'm aware. However, entries close this coming weekend, so if you're thinking of entering, you better be quick. Anne spoke to Christy DeHaven on her 1 to 3 show to give us all the lowdown, especially about the ever-changing and modernising range of classes to enter.
When is the Guild this year, Anne? What are the dates?
The 22nd to the 29th of April.
So not only are the dates themselves fast approaching, but as we were saying before, the deadline to enter is very soon, isn't it?
The 4th of February 2023.
So a week on Saturday, essentially. We mentioned the fact it's a very special year to be part of the festival because it is the 100th year of the Cleveland Medal, the centenary of the Cleveland Medal. So if you've not entered before and you want to be a part of the guild, have that in your sort of history to look back on, this would be a really good year to enter. So we've got obviously the existing classes that have been going for some time, which people might just assume it's music, but it's not.
No, it's speech and drama and everything from
Dancing.
Shakespeare. Dancing, yes.
The sword dancing?
Yes. There's all sorts of dancing. There's also an anything goes class.
Oh, tell us about that one. This
Well,
was last year this started, wasn't it, I think, in the last
Yes,
festival?
and it was a big success. This year, it's an open class. Anybody can enter this. And the theme this year is the 80s. Music or dance or both, and you can use your own backing tracks.
You could bring like a boom box and do a break dance.
Yes.
Oh, you could do, and you could dress up for it, which is welcome, I'm sure. Last year it was ABBA, wasn't it? Was the theme? I seem to remember. So did you have a lot of costume?
We did. It was there were some serious ones and some very funny ones, but they were all excellent.
And you can literally do anything, as it says, anything goes. That's why it's called that. But you've got all sorts of things. You've got mime classes as well that was started up a few years ago. So, and people do literally just turn up a mime, don't they? I've seen some of the videos.
Yes, they did. There was a particularly good one. Some children doing the TT races. They were. They're so clever. People do so well at these things. It just takes a bit of ingenuity. But I wish more people would take the plunge and have a go.
Well, I think there's maybe a bit of a misconception that it is somehow sort of old-fashioned or sort of stuffy in some way, but it's not at all. I mean, as we've just said, some of these classes we're talking about are so much fun. And obviously the schools all still get involved, don't they? There's loads of young people that get involved.
Yes.
Who's the sort of youngest entrant that's ever taken part?
Well, I think the youngest one was a long time ago now. I think it was Ernie Thorne's little daughter, Joanne. She was about 4, I think, but she was very little when she did it.
That's very brave.
Yes, but now the classes start at 6.
Yeah, 6 years old, so you can start at 6 years
Yeah.
old. And we mentioned there are some new classes. I mean, I'm looking at the list here. These are fabulous. Just give us a bit of an idea of some of the new classes available this year.
Well, we've got a drag class.
Amazing.
Yes, it's called Dragging It Up, and anyone can enter from school year 9, which is about 14, to 100. You can. So that should be a good one.
So I'm presuming you could either sing live or lip sync, maybe. Or...
Yes, I think it's about a 7-minute programme. Do whatever you like.
Fantastic. Well, that sounds great fun. And a community choir. This sounds good.
Well, we've had requests. We do have a lot of choirs, and because, of course, music is a big thing on the island. But we have had requests for mixed choirs with adults and children. So that's what we're having this year, as well as all the others. But if people want something and they ask us, we'll do our best to accommodate them and fit it in.
Yeah. And you've also got something called the presentation class. That's new this year.
This
What's
is
that
new,
all about?
Yes, this is so that people can pick a subject, their own subject, and talk about it. And they can use visual aids if they want.
So you have props.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, this sounds fun. And I must ask you as well, stand-up comedy.
The stand-up comedy is on again.
And
yes.
has it been going down well?
Yes, it has. It always goes down well, and we have some very, very funny people. But that's a good night. There's so many good things.
Yeah.
So
a
many.
huge variety, and that's the thing. If you think it is just about standing up there, very sort of very staid and just singing a song, it's not at all. There's so much more than that going on. But you're also on the lookout for some people to help, aren't you?
Yes, we need some more stewards.
Mm-hmm.
Stewarding it's running the classes, announcing and helping the adjudicator. It's very easy, and you'll be put with someone to help you. But it's such good fun, and it's an eye opener. It really is.
How much time would you have to give to be a steward?
As much or as little as you like. You could do 2 or 3 classes in the week, or you could do a class every day. Depends on how much time you've got. There are evening classes, morning and afternoon classes. So any time would be great.
And you get to then witness, of course, some of these fabulous performances that are ongoing because you could be there while they're happening.
Yes, and you find that sometimes there'll be an absolute gem in the morning, and there'll be no one there in the audience except the mums and dads, and there'll be a real cracking performance. which nobody sees. And we do try and put them on at the end of the week on Cleveland Medal Night if they're
really special. Yeah.
But it's such a shame that we don't get bigger audiences during the day. You can this year get a day ticket, £5, and you can pop in and out all day and come in and taste what's going on.
Oh, that's so you get a really good flavour of it.
Yes.
Taste what's going on there, you go, you see. And also, of course, so if anyone does want to be a steward, how do they do that? Do they just get in touch with you?
Get in touch. The email address is in the syllabus. Syllabuses are still available in all the outlets where we put them. But if you want to email the secretary at manxguild@gmail.com.
So email the secretary. manxguild@gmail.com is the email address, and just mark it for the secretary.
Well.
Yeah, exactly. And also, of course, you are always asking on a yearly basis. This comes up. People need to return their trophies.
People need to return their trophies. Yes.
I know this is a bit of a bugbear of yours, Anne, because sometimes they don't come back.
Sometimes, well, they do eventually come back when we send the boys round. But it's nearly time to get the Silvo out.
Yeah.
And get polishing. And then if you would return your trophies to Morrison's Photography in Bucks Road. They need to be back by the 31st of March at the latest. So if you haven't had it engraved, now's the time. The deadline for entries is Saturday the 4th of February at midnight. And there is no late closing date.
Just for those who just wanted to make sure they get their entries in quick, where's the best place for them to go and to actually get their entries in?
You can enter online or by post, and if you email the secretary at manxguild@gmail.com.
Dragging it up sounds fun, doesn't it? I'd love to see an old drag act up on the villa stage. And the community choir sounds good as well. Don't hang around though, those entries close this Saturday the 4th of February. Late entries, as Anne says, will not be considered. Don't say I didn't tell you. Now, if you were listening last week, you will have heard the first part of our little walk around Kensington Arts to catch up with the host of wonderful courses, workshops and groups taking place in pretty much every sort of artistic endeavour you can imagine. While I was there, I dropped down into the basement, don't often go there, to see what was happening.
Hi, my name's Kai Varetto. I use they them pronouns. I'm the project leader of Wild Track. It's a multimedia club that ages from 8 to 18 are very welcome to. It's all about photography, filming, animation, graphic design, anything multimedia related. If you're interested in it, just getting started in it, or if you're very experienced and you just need somewhere to go and use a space, that's where it's here for.
And what sort of kids turn up here then?
So at the moment we've mostly got teenagers, which is kind of handy in the sense of a lot of the terminology can be a bit big. But it doesn't mean that any of the younger ones can't get involved. It just means I'm going to have to think on my feet how to explain it a bit better, which is all good. But yeah, for now it's just the teenagers and that. We've had some youngsters that have been interested, but it's just because of the time. It's quite late for them, so hopefully if it gets a bit bigger we can expand and get a younger club maybe as well. But yeah, it's going well so far.
And so is it run as a workshop, or how does it actually practically work when the kids come down and work with you on whatever projects are going on?
So at the moment, it's been a bit of a trial and error, but we're trying out doing activity sheets. So the kids pick what they want to do in a category. So if that's photography, animation, graphic design, audio, whatever they're interested in, they look at the sheet, look at what the task has been given them, and then they do that. And then as they've go along, figuring it out, finding out, they figure out if they like it or not, if they need help with it or not. And then by the end of the session, obviously, I always ask them, how did you find it? Is there anything that you learned that you didn't know? Et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, just go off with really what the young people like and how they've taken it as well.
And very much sort of, I suppose, in vogue at the moment, something like that sort of skill set, that sort of thing that seems to be very much in with a lot of the younger crowd.
Yeah, so a lot of the kids obviously come to this thinking, it's the traditional, filming with a camera and stuff like that. And I'm like, not necessarily. We can make TikTok things and Snapchat filters and all that. And they're like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah. So, yeah, a lot of them kind of go in with like, oh, yeah, like photography or whatever. And then actually they realise there's a bit more to it than that. So, yeah, So I'm hoping if the word gets out, shout it a bit more, they'll come swarming. But it just depends. It's when they're busy and that as well.
It is. And what night's that on normally?
Mondays, 6:30 till 8:30 for now.
Lovely. And across the table as we come down here into this lovely basement area, it is a veritable warren of great little artistic spaces here at Kensington Arts. I'm going to get lost going back upstairs again, I know I will. But your name?
Hi, I'm Jo Smith. I'm project leader for Kensington Creatives, which is a new group started last term for creative writing sessions from kids from years 7 up until age 21.
Okay, so that's quite an age span.
Yeah, well, we do it in two chunks. The earlier, it runs on Mondays, as I say, down in the basement at Kensington Arts, 4 till 6. Years 7 till 10 have the 4 till 5 slot, and 11 plus up to age 21, because obviously they're going to be writing about more adult themes. They have the 4 till 5. Again, like Kai said, we're hoping as we get more numbers, we'll be able to split that into 2 proper, 2-hour groups per age group.
And what sort of interest are you seeing so far? Because I suppose this is more of a traditional creative side of things. We're thinking, you've got digital, which is very much in. Performance art's been very trendy of late. Creative writing is as old as the hills in many ways.
Yes, it is. I mean, I am a complete Luddite myself. I work with pen and paper. I can't do the computers, but most of the students, they come in, they'll write on their phones. A couple have laptops. Some still do use notebooks. Mostly what we're getting at the moment is poetry. I think poetry is having quite a resurgence amongst the youngsters at the moment. So what we're looking at is, particularly in conjunction with Soundcheck, that obviously most of the island by now must be aware of the Soundcheck sessions. Kids that want to write songs for their band, so they would come and they would hash out the lyrics in the creative writing bit, then they go to Soundcheck and they do the music bit. We're actually doing a mini festival in February with open mic night for songs, music, poetry, spoken word. So again, hopefully that's going to get the word out.
And I think you're right. I think these open mic nights or poetry slams or whatever become quite trendy the last few years.
Yeah, they have. I mean, I did a few last year, and I'm hoping that we're going to get more interest this year. Manx Lit Fest, the Alaman Poetry Society as well, and not just poetry. We had a kid doing. He was writing a sci-fi short story. Some people just want to come here, and maybe if they're journaling, they just want to collect their thoughts, or they might have a little idea of a snippet that they want to write down. If anyone has any writer's block or anything, I provide exercises and just little writing prompts that they can have a go at. That all, like I say, all kinds of creative writing down here, from drama to Daft Punk, I don't know.
Terrific. And so there's no sort of set theme as such. They come down with their own ideas. You're there to sort of help guide along if necessary, and they all work on their own projects. Yeah,
most of the kids know for quite definitely what they want to write about, and I'm here just to facilitate if they're not sure. Can I write this? I'm writing a poem. Does it have to be in rhyme? Absolutely. You can write whatever you want. I'll just help them kind of steer the waters. It's Mondays, Kensington Arts in the basement, 4 till 6.
Lovely. Right. I shall now see if I can find my way back upstairs.
If you get lost, you come back.
I will. I probably will.
Yeah, come write a poem.
I'm always impressed with just how much is going on at Kensington Arts. Check it out if you have younger folk who have the perpetual complaint from the generations, there's nothing to do here. Rubbish. That's about it this week. Don't forget, if you want to hear anything again, go to manxradio.com and download the Spotlight podcast. Listen where you want. Why not try it whilst peeling a parsnip for your supper? See you next week when, God willing, we will enjoy our profile of the Loom Gallery in Laxey. Cheerio.